Welcome, Leo, to your monthly forecast for December. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I'd be honoured if you did so now. This month begins with the Sun in a brilliant location for you, your sector of play, of personal expression, ideal for the festivities. But there are some more subtle influences at play as this month begins. Both Mercury and Mars are located in the sign of Scorpio, which is much more to do with home and family and emotions. But Mercury went into a retrograde at the end of October. It emerged from that on the 19th of November, but it only comes out of shadow on the 7th of this month. So for the first week of December, there could still be something that's going around your mind that you're not quite sure about. With Mars in your fourth house, there could be the potential for you to feel quite sensitive and perhaps even a little on the defensive side. So it's just something to be conscious of. But then, of course, we've got the planets that are in the sign of Capricorn. And over the last 6 months or so, Saturn, the planet of structure, conditioning, but also limitation, has been pressing into a closer alliance with Pluto, the planet of change, of transformation. Now, if you're someone who relishes change, you've been able to embrace the energies of Saturn, you may have been sifting the wheat from the chaff and making some fundamental alterations to what you eat, drink, how you exercise, how you order your life, even the jobs you do, or where you are of assistance to others. So in other words, where you are sacrificing and where you have duties. But if it seemed that it's all been all work and no play, it's been very humdrum, it's all about doing what other people expect of you, then that may have been a bit dispiriting at times. Now, although Jupiter, the planet of growth, has been, over the last year, in a brilliant part of your situation, which is very creative, and if you're single, very good potentially romantically, that is going to be relocating on the 3rd of this month into the sign of Capricorn, where you've had this big duo of Saturn and also Pluto. So what does this mean for you? Well, it's the first time in 12 years that Jupiter has been in this location. So if you do want to change your job and move into something that's more enterprising or more rewarding, it's definitely a good luck signal. The way Jupiter works is that it can provide us with opportunities, but particularly where we roll our sleeves up and show the maximum amount of application and perspiration. So obviously with Saturn and Pluto already in your 6th house, and those are the big structural planets which affect vast tracts of our lives. So having Jupiter moving into the same sector of those does bring a lighter vibe to bear, a more enterprising one as well. Jupiter can be about travel, it can be about higher education, it can be about positive values, it can be about being very good to other people as well. It can be about kindness, something you often have in spades. So it's a good change, even though technically Jupiter into the sign of Capricorn, it's not its best transit because it's in full, but I still feel some good fortune can come for you over the next year, but it probably requires you to make some kind of change. Now, however, as this month begins, Venus, the planet of love and attraction, but also money, is also in Capricorn. But it's alongside Ceres, which is an asteroid that's very much to do with nurture. So it has a kind of instinct of the moon in a way. So in the 6th house and Venus coming together, is someone going to reward your hard work and application by being particularly appreciative? This could be a colleague. It could be the potential for a new job. It could be a boss is going to say a massive thank you. There can also be a more positive connection to an animal. So if you're someone who's a big lover of animals, a new creature could be coming into your home in the month of December. Or is it that you're going to have a lovely connection to an aunt or an uncle? The 6th house governs those as well. But as this month begins, there is also a build-up towards the Sun squaring up with Neptune, and this begins in earnest on the 4th. Neptune is the planet of dreams, but it's also the planet of unreality. And since 2012, for you, it's been in the part of your scope to do with your closest alliances, so where you're most invested, but also around shared finance and where you want to be more entrepreneurial. Now, because Neptune is a misty, it's to do with the past, really. It kind of ebbs away at the foundations of things. So it's square to the Sun for a week from the 4th could be challenging, particularly around a romantic relationship where you may feel that you don't quite get everything you need. And this could be particularly the case if you are a very self-sacrificing Leo and you are going the extra mile in order to please the people you love. But if you're getting mixed signals or someone that you're involved with is not being entirely open and transparent about what's going on, this could get the alarm bells ringing. There's also a quarter moon which embraces Neptune, and for the following week as well, the 5th, 8th house angle is aggravated. It's not a great time to be spending out heaps of money or being rather more speculative on a risky project. It's a time to try to get to what the reality is. But fortunately, you do get help from the 9th when Mercury moves into Sagittarius. This is going to see you coming out of that rather inward vibe that has been ongoing for some while. And ironically, Neptune actually provides two very positive links from the 6th to the 10th with Venus, suggesting that perhaps where you are very compassionate, where you can connect to someone, where you're quite willing to give of yourself, there can be a very sweet moment across those days. And then from the 7th through to the 18th, it's the turn of Mars to be connecting beautifully with Neptune. If there is something in your situation where you can make some changes in your home environment, perhaps they're going to be to do with decoration, moving furnishings around, perhaps you are going to get something that will add to your sense of comfort, or perhaps it's just more atmospheric. You know, you get the fire lit, you can get the Christmas lights up, and this can all bring a sense of magic to bear. But certainly Mars and Neptune does point towards really embracing the more traditional elements of Christmas time. But because Mars is in the 4th house, where it can be a bit defensive, I think Neptune just softens things a little bit. So if there's a conversation you can have where you can say how you feel, but listen to the other person, it can be of great help to you both. Now, on the 9th, I've already told you, Mercury moves into the most playful part of your scope, the 5th house. It's not its favourite location. It's in detriment here, Mercury, but for you it's good. It can see you coming out of your shell. There is on the 12th, however, a full moon, and you may find yourself being pulled in several different directions. It's the same for everyone, of course, at this time of year, but this particular full moon does ask you to time manage things as best you can. You may have to prioritise who you want to be with. If you're single, it's possible that there could be more than one person that you're fascinated by, and this can ratchet up as you get towards Christmas. And this is because there is, on the 20th, the move of Venus into your opposite sign. If you do want to create greater harmony in any relationship, there is no transit as good as Venus going through the 7th house, as begins here. But there are going to be a couple of other issues, but it does go towards an ability to hear where other people are coming from, to be inclusive, to trying to find the midpoint between what you want and what someone wants from you. So Venus can be delightful, and if you're single, this could bring someone into your immediate orbit that you really are excited by. The thing is, this person could come through your work, or they could come in an unexpected way, or they could be from a different age group, but stay very open-minded in the run-up to Christmas about who you can connect with romantically. It's that exciting. But also from the 16th through to the 24th, both the Sun is going to be Mars, I beg your pardon, is going to be forging a brilliant angle to both Saturn and Pluto. Now, Mars is obviously a thrusting influence, and as I've said before, can be a bit jagged in the fourth house. But this is saying if you do need to make some practical changes, you can really get them worked out just as you want. And especially if you are going to be having people staying, I think you can be superbly organised, which does come naturally to you at this time of the year. You often can be very self-sacrificing, but this year it could become more of a pleasure where it feels right. It will be more of a displeasure if it seems that everything falls to you without others taking care of how you feel. So that is the balance you need to find. The 22nd sees the Sun also move out of Sagittarius, where it's given you those playful moments, and into Capricorn. Now Capricorn, the Sun in Capricorn is going to be meeting with Jupiter by the end of this year, and they're going to be in opposition with the North Node, or the point of destiny, in a very psychological part of your scope. Do you know, something you do towards the end of this year may not be easy for you to do, but it can define you for who you really want to be. Maybe something has been dogging you, getting you down, but some compromise that you find as this year closes could be profoundly uplifting. But also, because Venus then goes on to connect with the midpoint between the Sun and the Moon in Aquarius as the closing days of this year occur, it's a marvellous opportunity to find greater levels of cooperation. Also, Christmas Day can be joyous with the Moon in the 5th house in Sagittarius, which can bring out a more playful vibe in you. But as the year closes, it is true that Saturn is squeezing ever closer to Pluto. And if there is something that you've been resisting, for example, if you're staying in a job because the money's okay, it fits with you at some kind of level, but it gives you absolutely no fulfillment, satisfaction, or stimulation at all, it's just going to be starving your very core of the things that you need, which is a degree of drama, a degree of performance, a degree of interacting with people where your personality can shine and where people admire you. And if you're in a role that lacks those things, as this year comes to a close, it does reach close to a crunch point, which comes to the boil on the 12th of January 2020, and you may have to make some big decisions. But there's certainly an opportunity to find some sweeter vibes around the things you are happy to be obliged to do for others. If you'd like to know what 2020 would hold for you as an individual based on your time, date and place of birth, please see the link beneath this video. You can get 30% off, and if you order this year, get the rest of this year free as well. But I'd also like to say a very special thank you. Over the last 3 or 4 years, I really haven't been very well with a variety of issues. And of course, last year it was the rheumatoid arthritis. There's also been some painful transitions in my private life, and also some joyous ones because I met and obviously married Elisa. But I want to really thank you for sticking with me. And if you're a newer viewer, your subscription is really gratefully received. Next year, more energy is going to come through. I'm going to be doing many more lives on YouTube. But I'd like to wish you a very sincerely meant Happy New Year and Happy Christmas. Good luck and goodbye for now.